In this video, I'm going to talk about theming within Canvas app, Power App. Now, there are a couple of theming options available within Canvas app as of now, which is one is classic theme, then second there is a modern theme, and also there is an option to change the top header bar for the Canvas app. Now, classic theme is only applicable for classic controls. So if you have a classic controls in your Power Apps, like the old button or old calendar control or old drop down control, then classic theme will be applicable for that. If you have a modern control, then modern theming is applicable for that. And if you have and if you want to make changes into the top header, then that is also possible. Now, classic theming, if you see that in classic theming, what happens is like if you have all the classic control, now as you see over here in the bottom, there are a couple of controls like a drop down or an option or a button or a calendar control or a combo box. If you select the theme, like say if I select coral theme, then this theme gets applied. If you select a dark theme over here, then this theming gets applied. Now, the controls which you see in the form is just classic control. If you put a modern control in this form, that control will not be affected with the theme. Okay, so remember, this is only applicable for classic controls. What it changes the fill color, it changes the hover color, disable color, pressed color, all those kind of things it changes, okay, from a classic theming perspective. Settings to keep in classic theme. Now if you use a modern Canvas app editor and if you are in the new authoring interface, then classic theming is default disabled, it is retiring, okay. So if you have built all your Canvas app with the older control, then it's the right time to move into the modern control, or maybe you have an option to turn on the old theming and then you can do that transition now. Modern theme. Now modern theme will respect only the modern control. So as you see over here in this couple of application, I've selected orange color and all the theming orange color related themes get applied over here. So I have a checkbox, I have a calendar control, I have a radio button, I have a button over here. So all these things. So if I select a steel theme over here, then I get this modern control theming applied. Now, what things can you change with modern theming? It provides the color choices. You can view generated color palette. You can change the font, and it is quite limited as of now. But over a period of time, I'm pretty much sure it's going to increase. Now, remember, this is only applicable for modern control. In On the left hand side, the theming component, the palette which you see, represent the modern theming. On the top, if you see a theme, that is a classic theming. Now, this classic theming is not available by default. You need to turn this on explicitly by going into the retired section from the settings, which I'm going to show you. If you are not satisfied with the current theme options available over here, so there are around 8 themes as of now, you can add your own theme. Now, if I click on add a theme, I can select the color, and then from there, you will see all the generated palette for the lighter and the darker shades. Also, I can select font from the drop down list, which is also quite limited. However, it adds that lot of user interface value to your Canvas app. The Think about it, like if you already have a classic control, and if you want to go for a modern theme, and if you are using a mix of classic and modern theming, so if you have a form which has a classic control and a modern control, and if you are using a modern theming, then you can use that theming to apply to the classic control just by using the formula like app.theme.colors dot, and then you can select the lighter or the darker shade, which also I'm going to demonstrate it to you. So there is a darker shade available for the current modern theming and also the lighter shade. You can pick and choose whatever aligns to the closest to that particular theming component. Now, the top bar for the Canvas app, here, this you can change by selecting the themes. So in your Microsoft 365 Admin Center, Power Apps, Power Pages, Power Automate, there you will see something called as a themes. If you click on the clock icon, now if you make a change over there, then those particular change will be impacted on the top header. So you you can make those change anywhere. If you make change in Microsoft 365 theming, it will be impacted in Power Apps. So make sure that you have one common theme across your organization and you can use that header bar. Now, quite possible, sometimes you may not need that header bar for your Canvas app. There is an option to hide that as well. So if you add a query string and had hidden hide nav bar equal to true, then you can actually hide the navigation bar and your application will look something like this. So let me jump into the demo and then show you what I meant. Now, first thing, if you see this Microsoft 365 interface, if you see this admin center interface, if you see this Power Platform admin interface, all this has a header component, right? Now, if I go to Microsoft 365 and if I make this change and if I pick up the circuit board, if I go to admin center now and if I refresh it, that particular theme will get impacted. Okay, so if I just refresh for Power Platform admin center or Power Pages, see what happens. Everywhere it changes. So that means if you make a change at one place, it will be impacted everywhere. So similarly in Power Apps as well, you will see those changes. Okay, so that's the first thing to remember. So you can make a change from Power Apps by going into the settings and going to the themes, or you can go into M365 Admin Center, or you can go to Microsoft 365. Anywhere where you go, you can make those changes and it will be impacted across, right? So that's the first thing. Second thing, now I've created a Canvas app. Okay, now this is a plain screen over here. Now on the left hand side, whatever you see is the modern theming. On the left hand side, if I click on this palette of color, this is the modern theming. So if you closely read here in the bottom, it says these themes can only be applied to modern controls. Now, I don't see a classic theming option in the top. So if you want that to come, then what you need to do, and also remember that the modern theming will not be available for some of the authoring interface. So make sure that you go into the settings, go to support, and make sure you pick the right authoring version. So pick up anything which is greater than 3.24043.22. So if you are ahead of this, then you will get the modern theming. So that is first. If not, select the one and reload and apply the version. Then if you go into upcoming features and click on retired, okay, if you scroll down, you will see an option to keep the classic theme. So it reads classic themes are being retired as new modern controls and themes become available. When modern themes are turned on, choosing this option keeps classic themes available in your toolbar. Now watch over here, this section. This should hold the old theming component. Okay. Now currently you don't see theme over here. The moment you turn this on, you will see this theme light up. Okay. I'll just click on close. So now I have a classic Canvas app over here. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna insert a rectangle. Okay, so I have insert a rectangle. Now this rectangle is basically just to demarcate between the old and the new modern theming. Okay, so on the left hand side I will have something old. Okay, so if I click on insert over here, I will add, say, calendar control. Okay, so our calendar is basically the date picker. So classic date picker goes here and the modern date picker goes here. Then I will add a button. Okay, so classic button goes here and the modern button goes here. Now let me add a text component, text label, which is classic. Okay, so that's fine. I'll just, this interface is just for showing you that this is for classic. Okay, and let me make this as, say, 32 and just get copy of it, just to give you an indication that what's happening from a classic and a modern theming. So this is modern theming. So yep, so this is how my app looks like what I'm going to do, I'm going to save this and I'm going to publish it. publish this version. So this is how my app will look like. On the left hand side, I have a classic control. On the right hand side, I have a modern control. Left hand side respects the classic theming. Classic theming is on the top. Right hand side respects the modern theming. Modern theming is on the left. So let's pick up the classic theme. So if you see the theme over here, if I pick this red theme, watch what happens. If I pick up this red theme, then the left hand side component changes, right? So that means all the classic controls pick up the theme which is available on the top bar over here. Okay, so if I make it coral, then it will change to orange. If I make it to maybe blue color, then it will pick up this color, right? So let me pick up say red color for time being. Okay, then if I go to themes over here, and here if I pick up maybe a green theme over here, watch what happens over here. If I click on green, then all the button or the calendar control changes into green. So let me show you in action. So if I click here, see the green color, but for the classic control it is still red. Okay, so there is a difference between the classic and the modern control. Now say let's assume now the goal is basically to shift from classic to modern. So over a period of time you will have an application which is built using the classic theme, which will have a classic control. You need to switch it to modern. Now what if you are in the transitionary phase and if you want to use the modern theming? Okay, so if the modern theming is a green color and if you want to use that, then what you can do is this particular modern theming is of green interface, right? So what you can do, you can select the button or whatever control you have and then go into that specific fill color. So if I go to the fill color, and here you have an option to fill app dot, and then you need to find the theme. Okay, so app dot theme. So currently it will pick up the theme whatever is modern theming is available, app dot theme dot colors. And here you can pick up the color shades, the darker 10, the lighter 10. So if I pick up say lighter 40, then it will try to mimic that behavior, right? So this is somewhat closer to this color. So I'm not happy with this. Maybe I need a darker shade, so I'll just put darker 30. Now darker 30 is too much, then I will say darker 40, and darker 40 is too much, I'll say darker 10. And like this, you can make that closest match and you'll try to mimic those behaviors. So that's how you basically change the theming of classic to become somewhat related to modern. Also, say take for example if you have a modern control. Okay, you have already have a modern control button available within your application, and if you are say take for example if you have modify if you want to modify this theme or override the current modern theme, then there is an option to go here style and theme, and here you can pick and choose whatever color palette you want. Now here I will pick up the color palette of say purple. If I want this purple color, then I can do that. And here what I've done, although my theme modern theming is green, I've overridden it and I have made it purple. Now also you can pick up the font if you want to have a different font. I'll pick a light black. I can pick a font color. All those things I can do. And say take for example if you want to reset all the theming, all the custom theming which you have done from a modern theming perspective, then there is a button to reset its default value as well. So you can reset it and then it will revert back to the theme which is currently applicable. Now if I what I'm going to do, I'm going to just save this. Okay, now when you play this app, so what happens is like if I'm playing this app and if I say view this particular app in say either phone or maybe in a browser window, I can see this header component, right? So now what you can do is like if I go into the backend power apps interface, and if I go into the right environment where this app is hosted, so this is hosted in Girish Preview US. So I'll go into the Girish Preview US environment. And if I go into this application, and if I go to say details, here I can see get the web link. So I'll copy the web link and I'll paste this web link. Now, this is the application which it has picked up the first screen of the application. Now, it has a header bar over here, right? Now, what if you do not want this header bar? So if I click on F11, then it has this header bar. What if I do not want this header bar? What you can do, you can pick up the URL and put an ampersand and just say hide nav bar equal to true. So with that, what happens? The navigation bar would be disabled. And now if you do a full screen F11, the navigation bar is gone. So this is also one of the UI related changes which you can make to your Canvas app to make it look much better. So that's it, folks. This is how you basically customize your Canvas app. And there are quite demarcation between the classic and modern control, classic and modern theming. Eventually, everything will move on to the modern theming. So it is wise to make that decision to make all those classic control into modern control and then slowly migrate all the classic behavior into modern theming. Thanks for watching.